obviously need to turn the page. Last weekend, tough weekend for us. Still trying to get a feel for ourselves in terms of our team and lineup and just a little bit of everything. We're only 6 games into this thing, and it's been interesting to say the least. Just getting prepared for the beginning of the season and not having all the players out there, and you know, you start to realize that, oh my gosh, we just don't have a feel yet for our identity as a team, whether it's the bullpen or the lineup, um, and then we're going into NC State, who got swept by Georgia Tech, and so obviously they're going to be pretty fired up to bounce back, and we should be as well, because we certainly were looking. Hopefully, we were looking to win the series against Virginia Tech, and it didn't happen. And a lot of things didn't go right for us in that series, and we gotta get ourselves going here, because this thing, it's going to start picking up now. We're going to start playing 4 games a week for the next 7 weeks, and it's going to fly by, those midweek games, along with all ACC opponents. We got to start getting going and playing better baseball, consistent baseball, and so I told the guys we're 3-3 at the time, which is what it is. But we're fortunate that we're ranked pretty well in a lot of the polls. We're not playing like that right now, though. We're not playing like a top 10 team. We need to start playing better.
All right, we're going to go to Christopher Stock of Inside the U. Chris, go ahead.
Just it's been a few days since that last game. I was just wondering if there's anything more with the lineup that you've thought about in terms of maybe what's been going on, or maybe your message to the guys in practice this week.
Well, the message was that we need to be consistent. I want to get a lineup that we can put out there that's consistent. Now, it might be different with a lefty or righty, but we've been kind of bouncing it around more, so just different guys playing different positions, and I want some consistency. It's hard to play, let's say, shortstop when you're playing one day at short, 2 days at third, or 2 days at short and 1 day at third. And then I'm just using that as an example, by the way. But there are some other positions too that we've kind of bounced around, and maybe more the DH. But I told the guys we need our veteran guys to get it going. Again, it's only 6 games, but at some point, guys, we don't need to be hitting 230 something or whatever we're hitting as a team right now. But we need to start swinging the bat better. We need to. Our identity as a lineup should be we're driving the ball. We should be a team that hits the ball for power, extra base hits, knocking guys in. We haven't done that, and we only had 1 extra base hit the entire weekend against Virginia Tech, and that was the fly ball that carried out by Yo-Yo Morales on Sunday. So our veteran guys know they need to get it going. They seem very confident in that we will, and so we just get that consistency. And when guys I told you start playing better and more consistent, you're going to see a consistent lineup. Until then, I'm just trying to find my way too and try to put the best matchups I think that would be the best fit against certain pitchers.
And just a quick follow. I was curious if you had a decision on a starting pitcher for Tuesday there, and if not, what's kind of the process that you'll go through over the weekend before you announce that?
We do know who the starting pitcher is, but I'm not going to announce it right now. Not until I know what FAU's doing. I'm not announcing it. So, but we know who our starting pitcher is going to be, and we started planning for that last week.
All right, Gino, we're going to go to Matt Shodell of Kane Sport. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Gino. I like that you said that you don't have, you're still looking for an identity for your team, whether it's the lineup or the bullpen. And you mentioned the identity of the lineup should sort of be driving the ball and having a lot of extra base hits. I was curious, what should the identity of the bullpen be? It seems like you have an identity with your closer, so I assume you're talking more about the middle relief. Yeah, so talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say, Matt, that the identity more with the lineup than the bullpen. I think we have an idea that there's some, I'd say, in the middle part of our bullpen, we probably had to play around with it. Our closer is Palmquist. He's been very, very good. He's, when we've given him the ball late in the game, he's really been dominant. And he's a guy that we got to be able to go to. We're not having a midweek game this week. I personally, I probably screwed up. I should have gave him the ball earlier last week on Sunday, because he only threw on Saturday. He didn't throw very many pitches, and it was 1 inning, and maybe could have gone to him earlier. It's one of those where you can second guess yourself, which I'm great at doing to myself. But so he's our closer, and right now Ben's our setup guy. I mean, we know that. I guess where I was coming from with the identity of the pitching staff too is the bullpen. I didn't mean the rotation or anything either. And so, just trying to figure out those guys late in the game and who we're going to go to. Right now we've got guys like Arguelles, who's had a good outing, but then hasn't had a couple of good outings. Okay, and then we've given Jake Smith has gotten an opportunity. He's done okay, good enough to where he's probably moved up the ladder now a little bit up in the lineup there, who we might go to before another guy, possibly. Jordan Doubley's gotten a few opportunities and hasn't pitched as well as we'd like. So I guess what I meant by that, Matt, is some guys are maybe ahead of other guys, and now we've reshuffled a few guys where some guys have skipped because they might have started out the year lower, but now after a couple, 2 weeks here, we've probably reshuffled those long or short bullpen guys, but not Ben and not Carson. We haven't done anything there or the rotation. No.
All right, Gino, we have time for a few more. We're going to go to Gabriel Garcia of Lemon City Live. Gabe, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, Coach, last year you guys didn't really play in the pandemic, and now that you've played about 6 games in, and you've played your first home series, does it feel surreal? Did it feel like any other baseball game? Like, tell me your thoughts on that now that you played your first home series after almost a year of no baseball.
I mean, it feels the same. I guess it's interesting because the crowds obviously they're not there. So you wonder how that would affect, like, say, us going to Gainesville. And let's say there wasn't a pandemic. Well, that would have been 7, 8, 9. I don't know how many they hold, 1,000 opening up that park. It'd be interesting to see how would that have affected us going on the road. And same with Virginia Tech. It would have been their first road games, right? Virginia Tech coming here. And maybe we had a packed house or close to a packed house for opening weekend with all the excitement, whatever, and you wonder how it would affect the visiting team. I don't know if that neutralizes everything, for the road team. But in regards to the game itself, it's the most normal thing we do. When we go on the field and play, it's the most normal thing that we can come close to, if there is such a thing as normality right now. But that's the most normal thing we do. A lot of things outside of it different, I've mentioned, and I don't think it's a big deal, but we got our hitters in the dugout, all our pitchers in the bullpen. That's a little different. Our locker rooms are separated. We don't have everybody together in the locker room. We have 2 locker rooms now, one downstairs, one upstairs. How we utilize how we travel. We're going to travel for the first time tomorrow on a plane. That's going to be different. How we bus to Gainesville. We took 2 buses, but in the hotel, you got to stay in the hotel. You can't leave it. But I'll be honest, those things aren't really, to me, my goodness, what's going on in the world and with the pandemic, I don't think these are really tough obstacles that we're dealing with, to tell you the truth. But again, I'll answer your question. The most normal thing we do is play the game. And that's the biggest, I think, the most enjoyable part of is when we're on the field, whether we're practicing or playing the games, obviously a lot more fun. That's the best part of it.
All right, Gino, we're going to go to Wyatt Kopelman of UMTV. Wyatt, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I'm sure a lot of folks have already asked you about Christian Del Castillo, but could you just talk about the impact that he's brought on the team through the first 2 series and what else you're looking at of him this year? We're
talking about Christian, right? Not Adrian.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Christian.
He's been, he's brought a lot of energy to the team. He doesn't say a lot. He's a very quiet guy, but how he plays is very energetic, plays with a lot of passion. And I think that the players can feed off of that. And I think he's one of those guys that gets a lot of respect from his teammates because he doesn't say anything. He never complains. He never whines. He's always working hard, and he's clutch. He comes through clutch in a lot of scenarios, and players, they respect guys like that on the team. Those are guys they're like counting on. Oh my gosh, he's going to be the guy that comes through for us because he's done that, and he's done it in the fall and the spring. He's made diving catches where he's given up his body into the wall on the warning track where he's sliding and diving. He's throwing out guys from the outfield. He's getting clutch hits, big hits prior to the season, I'm saying. And then once we got into the season, it's been pretty much the same as before. So He's been a spark plug for us. I'm hitting him down in the lineup because I like him down there. It seems like he comes up a lot of times in clutch situations where I know we've hit him, 6, maybe 7 or 8, whatever, but he's gotten big hits for us down in the lineup, and you got to have them guys down in the lineup that can balance it out. I'm tempted to move him up in the lineup because he's doing so good, but I'm hoping our veteran guys, they'll get it going where we will have this balance, and you'll have Christian down at the bottom or on the back end, I should say, the second half of the lineup where we can leave him. He's comfortable. He's been doing good. You hate to move guys around when they're doing good, because they're comfortable in that position, and they could get pitched differently if you move them around. And so it's been a pleasant surprise, gift, acquisition, whatever word you want to use, that he came, because we didn't really recruit him. And I keep saying that, and Coach Lopes, I guess, does deserve credit. He was involved in it, but he's here, let's be honest, because he's a Miami guy and his brother's here, and he's really here to get again, he's an unbelievable student athlete. And he's, David probably can help you better in here. He's in grad school, but was it biochemistry or something? He's taking classes that I've never even seen before. He's just an impressive kid. He's going to be very successful in his life after baseball.
Thank you.
We have time for 2 more. First, we're going to go to David Feronas of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Gino, a 2-part question, if I could. With the team, like you said, trying to find itself in so many different areas, whether it be the defense, the base running, the bullpen, was there a particular focus or emphasis this week in practice, especially since it's kind of the last one for a while where you have these 4 days off to really work on some things? And the other question I had was just about Fed on Friday. Your hopes of him looking more like the last 3 innings that you saw, if that can carry over more so than the way he started his last start.
Yeah, well, the first, we get 3 days. Monday's a day off. We have to, by NCAA rules, we take Monday off. So we practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll practice tomorrow night when we get up to NC State. But what we've worked on is really just freeing the guys up, swinging the bat. Guys, we got to cut the bat loose, man. We're not driving the ball. So I think we put in a big emphasis on attacking, being aggressive. Sorry, something popped up on my computer. Being aggressive in the strike zone early in the count. Stop being defensive, getting the counts so many times. We're behind the count and 2 strikes and being defensive. You got to hit with 2 strikes. But, man, let's look to be aggressive and drive the ball, because that is one of our strengths. We got a number of guys in the lineup who can hit the ball with authority, and we need to do that. So we have emphasized that. The base running side of it, we worked on that today. We work on that every day. That'll get better. I just think it's just something that's just got to continue to do. Stealing bases, part of base running, that we haven't done a good job. We've screwed up a lot on bases in other areas, but we're 5 for 9 running. We were only 1 for 4 running over the weekend. And we, as a coaching staff, thought we could have run on them, and we didn't. So we've really worked and emphasized that in the back end of our last 2 practices, of just kind of getting a better feel for what we're looking for and what we're trying to do, and getting jumps and stealing. And we don't need to be the top stolen base team in the country, and we're not. That's not what we are. We got a lot of power guys in that, but we have 2 or 3 guys that can run, and they need to run. When they get on base, we need them to run if the situation calls for it. And Virginia Tech had a number of guys we should have run on, but we didn't. So we got to do a better job there. And in regards to Fed, Fed's been great. It's just I know he had the 2 hiccup innings there against Virginia Tech. And then, when he threw, again, you look at his line, both games, and in Florida game 2, the line maybe didn't look so good, but I thought he threw better than what the lines showed. But look, if you're going to be a Friday night guy in the ACC, you can't afford to have hiccups, even one big hiccup where they score, say, 3-4 runs in 1 inning. You got to minimize, and you've got to quiet that down and not allow for an inning or 2 innings, because Friday night guys, the other Friday guys, really good. And so getting runs is a premium. So those are the things that we're hoping that Fed can just, he's close, he's close there. I'm still happy with how he's throwing. We just got to, clean up an inning or 2 here and there.
All right, Gino, our last question for you comes from Christopher Stock of Inside the U. Chris, go ahead.
I was curious about Jordan Lala, kind of what you make, because he's a guy that gets on base. That's kind of his game. But, what basically are you looking for with him, in terms of either hitting or just production wise in general? And maybe you touched on it there with the stolen bases.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a guy that could do that as well. Just overall, with what you're looking for with Jordan.
Well, he's our leadoff guy. He has been for the last few years. We don't have a lot of candidates on our team to be a leadoff guy. We need him to be that guy. Not asking for him to hit 300. That'd be great. He should hit around that. But we don't even ask for that kind of pressure. He's a guy that needs to get on base. He needs to be able to wear pitchers down and give taxing at bats. Should be taking counts deep into counts. He needs to be a guy. He stands right on the plate, so he needs to learn to wear pitches, which he does. He gets hit at times, which is another way of getting on base when they try to throw in on him. Got to get his confidence going. A couple of years ago, his freshman year, he's like second in the ACC in stolen bases. He's lost a little confidence running, and that's part of what we were trying to do the last 2 days is give him and guys like Tony Jenkins and a few other guys some confidence that where we think those guys can run. Those guys should have the ability to steal bases, and we need to utilize that. So Jordan, along with a number of other guys, are not swinging the bat very well, and we know he can hit better than what he's hit. But even when he's not swinging the bat, he's got to get on base, and it's just that his average has been pretty bad. That it's hard, for his on base to be where it needs to be. But I mean, his on base percentage should be at least well over 100 points of what his batting average is, and it is. But his batting average is pretty low right now. So hopefully, him along with some other guys, we get them going. Baseball's a crazy game where once it starts clicking, boy, it's kind of like a tidal wave. It'll start spreading with the whole team, and the confidence just takes off. And we've got guys that have done it before. They're veteran guys. They just got to get it going and get that confidence going.